Okay, so we all remember high school, right? I know so many people that still say it was the best time of their lives, and I find those people to be quite questionable because for me, high school was the worst time of my life. I literally left high school early, one semester early, because I couldn't take it anymore. And the reason being is I just never felt good enough. There have been so many times in my life where I just didn't feel like I was worthy enough, whether it was worthy enough for certain friends or friend groups or the grades I wanted or for just the things I wanted to do in my day-to-day life or just the college I wanted to go to. So many times in my life that I just felt I wasn't worthy. And I'm sure you felt that way. We have all felt that way. It is human nature. Think back to high school, how you probably constantly felt like you weren't good enough. You couldn't keep up. You just felt like you felt bad. You worried so much about what everyone thought about you. But then the moment you get out of high school, you have this realization that you are disconnected from these people all of a sudden. They're not there anymore 24/7. They're not a constant in your life. And you start to see how much it didn't matter what they thought of you because life has changed. You're on to a new chapter. You're like, oh my gosh, why did I care so much about what these people thought about me? Why didn't I just enjoy that time in my life? And I've realized we kind of just go in this cycle of where, say you got a job, and you're constantly feeling not good enough there. And then you move on to another job and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I care so much back then? And we are always constantly thinking about, in hindsight, I wish I hadn't cared what they thought about me then. But then we're still caring about what people think about us now. When are we going to stop working so hard to impress everyone else around us or just tiptoe around because we don't want to offend anyone or affect everyone? When are we gonna stop doing that and instead start impressing ourselves and living up to who we know that we could be? And you may not even realize who you want to be in life. You may not even have gotten to that step yet, and that is okay. There was a time when I did that huge switch on my channel. I was doing life hacks and hair tutorials, which there's nothing wrong with those. It's just something I was not passionate about whatsoever. And I was just so afraid of talking about where I came from, my life, who I really was. And I didn't even know who I really was because I was just so worried of hurting anyone, offending everyone, not being good enough for someone, not being okay enough for someone, taking up too much space, my voice being too loud, saying things that were too deep or too real or too serious. And I was just so afraid of everyone else out there that I wasn't thinking about who I wanted to be. It eventually got to a point where I was in this huge identity crisis and I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even know what I wanted in life, but I just felt like I wasn't good enough for any of it. And I got to this breaking point where I had to ask myself, what do I want? Like, who do I want to be? It just seems that a lot of our issues, even if it doesn't seem like it, come from a lack of self-worth or not realizing our worth. Even when it's someone who's gone through a serious trauma. Say someone's reached out to me and they've gone through something really serious and I'm like, hey, have you tried speaking to a therapist? Have you tried doing this or doing that to help yourself? And like, no, I just don't even feel like it would help me. I don't even feel like I can get better. And that comes from a feeling of not being good enough of healing, not feeling like you are worthy of a new life, of getting past that, not feeling good enough to be resilient when you are resilient. You have that resilience inside of you. You just have to find it. I think the first step to finding self-worth and figuring out your worthiness is finding a way to knock out all that noise in your head. Are you just afraid of other people's thoughts? Then find a way to squash that and identify to yourself that other people aren't thinking that much about us. Is it because something or someone in society made you feel like you have to be a certain size or at a certain part in your life to feel good enough? Because then you have to come to terms that worth is not earned. Worth is not a certain body size or a type of person or a hair color. Worth comes from within. So what you should do is, this sounds crazy, but think of the person, if there's a person or an experience, something that happened that made you feel unworthy. It may take some time. Journal it out. Take a few days, a few weeks and journal and try and figure out what happened to make you feel unworthy. Maybe it's multiple instances. Then take those memories and debunk them. Take away their power. If it was someone that treated you poorly and they were hurtful to you, do you really want to decide your worth based off a mean, hurtful person's opinion? And when you start to think of the person that said those things to you as mean and hurtful, you realize, oh wait, they're not a very nice person. Why would I let them decide how I feel about myself? Do I really want to decide my worth based on that person's opinion? Is their opinion really that reliable to you? Are they really that credible? So once you've taken that credibility away from that person, you get a little bit of a clean slate. You get to kind of decide your worthiness. And maybe it's hard to conjure up. And that is where fake it till you make it comes in. And before anyone says anything, I know, Gary Vee's out there. I love Gary Vee, but he's out there like, fake it till you make it doesn't work. Don't fake it till you make it. And I'm like, okay, Gary, I appreciate you. I love you, but you got it all wrong. You got it way wrong. Gary Vee always explains it like the person that walks around and pretends they got a Bugatti and a Rolex, but they don't. And they're saying they're faking it till they make it. That's not working. Everyone sees through that. Blah, 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 blah. BS. Lots of cuss words in there, you know? But that's not faking it till you make it. That is lying. That is posing. That is being a poser. Faking it till you make it is very different. I like to think of fake it till you make it as act as if, or fake it till you become it. I don't like to say fake it till you make it. Fake it till you become it, or act as if. When I say that phrase, I'm thinking of fake something that you already have within you, the ability to conjure up within you. You just haven't figured out how to do it naturally yet. So for an example, confidence. Everyone has confidence somewhere deep down there. Your true highest self has some confidence in there. And if you think you don't, just wait. So if you don't feel very confident, you could fake that confidence until it gets natural. If you gave yourself a challenge to just fake confidence for 5 days, you weren't allowed for 5 whole days to say anything negative about yourself. You weren't allowed to put yourself down, put anyone down around you. You had to try and be kinder to yourself in the situation you were in. It doesn't mean you have to be completely unrealistic. It just means you aren't gonna sit there and call yourself ugly in the mirror. You're not gonna talk down about how you look. You're not gonna say you're not good enough for so-and-so. You would just not, if you weren't allowed to say those things for a whole week and you had to pretend you were confident for a week, I bet by the end of that week, you would feel a lot more confident naturally. When that week was over, you would carry some of that confidence with you. So that is what I mean when I say act as if. If you follow anyone who practices law of attraction and they actually know their shit, they would say they act as if. So the truth is, we are all just as capable and worthy and wonderful as everyone else around us. So the person that you feel like it has got it all figured out and they're just so worthy and they've earned their worth, you are just as good as them. You know, worth is something that we determine for ourselves. We determine where our lives go from here. If I had listened to all the negative thoughts in my head like 10 years ago, did I say my hell? That really shows where I was 10 years ago. If I was to listen to all of those thoughts 10 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna live in this trailer forever and it's all I'm ever worth and I'm just gonna date this guy that smacks me and it's fine. If I listened to that forever, I would still be there. Because I had to wake up one day and be like, you know what? I am worth more than this and I am going to go and get more for this. Because the truth of the matter is, the only way you're going to get something else in life is if you go out and take it. You conjure up a plan for yourself. You wake up not every morning, gotta take breaks, but you wake up most mornings and you work towards your goals. You work towards bettering yourself, being the person that you want to be in life, but you have to feel good enough to be that person, whatever that person is to you. Now, I can't tell you what worthiness feels like for you. I can't tell you what worthy you looks like or acts like or does, but you already know because you are it. You just have to realize right now you are good enough for whatever it is that you feel unworthy for. You just have to bring that about, and it's up to you, but you have to do it for you. That's all it is. It is all about caring for ourselves, caring about ourselves, being our own biggest cheerleader, which is one of the freaking hardest things to do. I don't know why we have just been brought up in this society that makes it so tough to be nice to ourselves. But it's gotta change, and it has to change and start with us. If you are not in a place where you love yourself enough to do it for yourself, do it for your younger sister, your younger brother, your child, your sibling, your friend who doesn't feel good enough. Because realize, the moment that you start to realize your worth and you start walking around realizing how worthy you are, people are gonna notice that. They're gonna notice the energy that you let off, and they're gonna think, oh my gosh, I want what you have. They're gonna want what you have, and they're gonna try and mimic that. they're gonna try and find their own worth because you are gonna give them permission to do that, because you gave your own self permission to do that. So find any way it takes, because even for me, one of the things that really helped me find my worth is that I had 2 younger brothers who were also being brought up in an abusive home. And I realized that if I went out and made a new life for myself and made good money, that I could help them, that I could send them money, I could help them in life, I could teach them new ways, and I have been able to do that. So that feeling of wanting to help someone else pulled me along the way. I really hope you take this video and soak it all in. Watch it twice if you have to, send it to someone else that you know that's been struggling, because worthiness is not a one person thing. We all deserve to feel as worthy as possible and go after our dreams and be who we want to be and do what we want and love who we love and dress how we want and walk how we want to walk and talk how we want to talk and say what we want to say. Like, whatever it is that you feel like you wish you could do, you know, there's something that comes up right now when you think of who you'd want to be. This is a good exercise, actually. Something that I used to do is I would close my eyes and I would envision my highest self, who I would be if I was my most worthy self. And I'd always envision myself, I don't know why, I'd always be in a blue pinstripe suit. I don't think I'm ever gonna wear that, but I would always envision myself in this blue pinstripe suit, and I'd be out on stage and I'd be talking to all of you guys and I'd be like, hey, and I'd be so confident and I'd have my hair in a ponytail. I don't know why I pictured the ponytail, okay? And I'm like, what's up guys? And I was like on a book tour, like a speaking tour, and I just held myself so confidently, and you guys would come up on stage and we would hug and I'd be like, hey! I wasn't yelling, I was nice. And I would give all this advice, and people in the crowd were crying, and I was crying, and I would just picture myself going on tour, which is something I plan to do within the next few years. And by the end of me visualizing this, I would literally be in tears. Visualization has changed my life. It's the #1 thing for me. When I won the Avalon contest, I'll put that video somewhere, I visualized that all the time until I was crying. And still now, I will close my eyes and visualize what I want to see next. And I always visualize it with myself, how I would see myself. And then when I open my eyes, I bring that person I just visualized into me. I remind myself, that person I visualized is me. I may not be in a pinstripe suit, but that is me. That is who I'm working towards. I'm working towards that tour. But whatever it is that you need to envision yourself doing, running for freaking president, close your eyes, envision it as much as you can, and then open your eyes and bring that part into you and realize that is you. That is you. You are that person that you just envisioned, okay? You can do that as many times as you want. I recommend the more the merrier. It's nice. Visualization is really important. But okay, I'm done rambling. I'm sure you've heard enough of me by now. I hope this video helped you. Please soak it in as much as possible, because I want you to feel as worthy as possible. I want you to go after your goals. I am thinking of coming out with a course. I haven't completely decided, but maybe where I would work with you guys one-on-one and we'd come up with like a roadmap to success for whatever it is you were trying to do. Let me know your thoughts. I love you so much. Make sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you want to support me. It means the world to me. I love you so much, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.